Real estate plays a key role in many economic situations. For example, under an urban economics perspective, many choices made by households and firms about where locating their economic activities are driven by house prices. At the same time, under a macroeconomic perspective, real estate is relevant because it can affect household decisions about consumption by means of wealth effects. House prices are also an important indicator that many monetary authorities take into account when making their policy decisions. Under this background, it's important to understand what can affect house prices. The house market is very linked to the mortgage market for a very simple reasons. Households, when decide to buy, for example, a new house, need money. In many situations, they can face many financial constraints. Mortgages can help households to overcoming such constraints. For these reasons, one could expect that when mortgages goes up, house prices goes up too, because of an increase in the demand for houses. Under this background, against this background, our paper has a very precise aim, that is to estimate how house prices vary with mortgage supply. Our starting point is the empirical evidence according to which the two variables are very correlated. For example, before the Great Recession, the housing boom went hand in hand with the very easy conditions for households in accessing mortgages. These patterns have then reversed during the Great Recessions. Unfortunately, observing a pure correlation is not sufficient for an economist, because economists look at causal relationships that are more useful in order to put in evidence policy implications. So we look for causal effects of mortgages on house prices. How can we do that? We do that by means of a new empirical strategies that allows us to isolate the effect of mortgages on house prices. We apply such a methodology to Italian cities, which are observed across a time span that goes from 2003 to 2015. Data on house prices are taken from the Internal Revenue Agency, while data on local mortgages are taken from the Bank of Italy statistics. Our results indicate that there is a point elasticity of house prices to mortgages equal to 0.1. What does that mean? It means that when mortgages goes up by 10%, house prices goes up by 1%. That is 1/10 of the increase in mortgages. Interestingly, our point estimate is in line to the same estimate that has been proposed for the US, despite of huge institutional differences between these two countries. We have a number of further results too. First, we show that the positive effect is restricted to the periods in which there is a boom in house prices, so signaling that easy credit condition can underpin some sort of irrational exuberance in that market. Moreover, when we look at heterogeneity across cities, we find that our effect is larger in cities where population density is higher, probably because in those cities, the supply of houses is more rigid. To conclude, our results highlight an important point estimate that could be important and relevant for policymakers when they decide to change something in capital regulation for banks or for any monetary policy affecting mortgage supply.